A very good evening to you. If I had €1 for every time someone had asked me a question about a license of first occupation, I would be a serious regular here at Los Dunas Health Resort and Spa. It's a fantastic place, absolutely beautiful. But on to the most important thing, the license of first occupation. Now, many people are trying to register their properties at the moment that they rent out to tourists, and in order to do that, you need to have this magical, enigmatic certificate. But let's explain exactly what it is. Anytime a house has been built in Spain, a construction license is necessary to build the property. That means showing a plan to the town hall, getting the okay from them, making sure it fits within the building requirements of the area. For example, in Marbella, you're not allowed to build a property that's taller than 4 stories high. So you need a plan that shows that you are sticking totally to the regulations and the local law to make sure that that property is going to be given the okay by the local junta or ayuntamiento. Now, once you've submitted the construction certificate, you start building your house. And once the house is finished building, an architect from the town hall will visit the house and he will look at the plan, he will check that the plan matches the plan given when the construction license was granted, and at that point he will grant a license of first occupation. That's the law post-1990s. Prior to that, the license of first occupation was called a habitation license, and it does exactly the same thing. It's just a change in name. When you apply for your license of first occupation, or when your property has one, after 10 years it must be renewed, and at that point it becomes a habitation license rather than a license of first occupation. So if your house is older than 10 years and you're thinking, why haven't I got a license of first occupation? You're probably looking for the wrong document. You need to check you've got the habitation license. Now, all houses around here should have either a license of first occupation or a habitation license. If it's a case of asking your lawyer if it's on the file, that'll be the lawyer that did the conveyance, that is the sale or the purchase of the property for you. If it's a case of asking him if it's on the file, that's what you need to do. If you don't have your license of first occupation or your habitation license, all is not lost, save for in a few circumstances, which I'll explain in a second. But you can apply to the town hall here in Marbella or in the area you live for a copy of your habitation license or your license of first occupation, which should be on their files. It costs you around €50 to get hold of. It will mean popping down to the ayuntamiento or the junta to get hold of this, but it is possible, so don't worry hugely about that. If you are having problems or if you've got big questions, as ever, my advice is to speak to your lawyer or your gestor. Now, the complicated bit, Marbella. Marbella has a bit of a problem with licenses of first occupation. We're all fully aware of the Gil Roca years in which many houses shot up for various reasons and weren't perhaps given construction licenses or signed off for the license of first occupation. Now, this is a slightly more difficult area, but again, all is not totally lost. You are able to get hold of this license because, let's face facts, you need it to register your property in order to rent it out to tourists. The issue here is that many of the houses built between, say, 1998 and 2008 were in some ways illegal if the construction license hadn't been granted, if perhaps money had been paid for the construction license, or if the license of first occupation hadn't been given. That said, the Spanish law works on this basis. If nobody's told you that your house is illegally built, then your first license of first occupation is totally valid and you can go to the town hall and you can collect it. You may have more questions about this. If you do, please send me an email, patrick.charles.grant@gmail.com, or speak to your lawyer. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about these licenses and the registration process as a whole. But until then, have a fantastic weekend. Take care.